Connie Bryan Show. You know, with this national Trump disgrace that we're witnessing in our nation right now, I really think the good news is we're probably not going to have to wait the whole 4 years to get rid of this con artist in chief. And it's inspired me to write a couple of more songs. I'd like to start off the show tonight with my newest parody of Heart's big hit, Magic Man, and dedicate this to Donald Trump, of course. I never thought it would come to pass, so many folks with their head up their ass. My own mother with a Trump bumper sticker. There's no excuse to be so blind. Republicans have lost their mind, and I'll never admit she ever gave birth to me. Trump's tweeting, she says with a smile, hey, look what he's eating, it's a quarter pounder with fries. I said, Mama, try to understand, he'll grab your pussy with his hands. Try to understand, he's Putin's bitch and he's a con man. Just how bad does it have to get? How many lies, how much bullshit, till the Republicans stop covering up for him? And how can we pretend to be all about democracy when most of the country voted for Hillary? Yeah, but Donald Trump's tweeting, she says with a smile, and the Mexicans are leaving, let's go to Walmart for a while. I said, Mama, try to understand, he was endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan. Try to understand, he's Putin's bitch and he's a con man. You know he's fake as his hair piece. He knows he's running on empty. Yeah, but Donald Trump's tweeting, she says with a smile, and the Mexicans are leaving, let's go shop at Walmart for a while. I said, Mama, try to understand, he was endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan. Try to understand, he's Putin's bitch and he's a con man. Thank you very much. You're watching The Connie Bryan Show. We got a great show planned, fun with the newspaper coming up, and I got a great guest on the show. He's an improv comedian, Jason Casey, coming up just a little bit later. You don't want to miss it. Stick around. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching The Connie Bryan Show. I just want to welcome our viewing audience. Our program has grown even since the last episode. We've added another cable access area. So I want to welcome our newest viewers in Davis. Thanks so much for tuning into the program. I hope you enjoy the program. We've got a great show planned. Also want to welcome, of course, our local Sacramento viewers, where we emanate from, and also where the show began about back in 2003. I actually started this program in Santa Barbara, and of course we are delivering this show also to the Santa Barbara audience, as well as Pasadena. So I want to welcome all of you and our viewing audiences in those areas to the program. This is the part of the show where we have some fun with the newspaper. So basically, let me just tell some of our younger audience, if you're wondering what's the newspaper, you know, it's just a, think of it as a website, a big website that you carry around with you because you don't care about looking hip, you know. You just want to carry it around with you and read it at your leisure. So I'm going to share some stories that I found in the news that I thought were a little bit interesting, and we'll try to have a little fun with it. Take a look at this first story here. by Ann Doe of the Los Angeles Times. And the title of this is, As Homeless Surge Near Disneyland, Anaheim Removes Its Bus Benches. Says the vanishing benches were Anaheim's response to complaints about the homeless population around Disneyland after callers had alerted City Hall with reports of vagrants drinking, defecating, smoking pot in the area near the entrance to Disneyland. A lot of locals were worried that this would end up, when they moved the bus benches, that it would end up pissing off the homeless people, but actually it didn't. What it did was make them much more resourceful. They said they didn't mind doing a lot more standing. I mean, it's healthier for you anyway. We've all heard sitting is the new smoking, right? So homeless people were inspired by the removal of the bus benches to come inside the park and stand in the long lines along with all the other people at the park at Disneyland, and they were holding signs, you know, that said, instead of saying we'll work for food or stuff like that, they were standing in line with the folks, the ticket holders, you know, with signs that said $10 and I won't sit, drink, poop, or smoke next to you on Pirates of the Caribbean. Very resourceful. All right, take a look at this story here. I just couldn't believe this when I read it, but then again I could, because we know what we're dealing with by now. Trump's lawyer threatens man who sent email. Can you believe that we're living in an age where this would even happen? I mean, so a guy writes an email to Trump's criminal lawyer that he's had to hire. Just that in itself is crazy. The man wrote the email, simply suggested that the lawyer stepped down because of a story he had heard on the Rachel Maddow show talking about why the lawyer, Trump's lawyer, hadn't even sought a security clearance. So there were some negative things that I guess caused him not to even seek it. And so this person was writing him an email saying, look, if that's the case, you need to step down. So what does Trump's lawyer do? According to the emails obtained by ProPublica, Trump's top lawyer, Mark Kasowitz, used profanity and threatened the man in writing. Are you ready for this? Trump's lawyer emails back to this man who told him he should consider stepping down. Trump's lawyer writes back to him, I already know where you live. I'm on you. Can you believe that? Question. Can you be president of the United States and have your lawyer physically threatening people? Something tells me no, you know. Can you be president and even in the first place need a private criminal lawyer to represent you against major possible criminal major violations when you haven't even been in office for 6 months? Something tells me no. I don't think you can be president and have that going on. I really don't. Take a look at this story here. Still on the topic of Trump and FBI Director Comey. This story by Alexandra Alter of the New York Times. Comey's writing a book including Trump Clash. And the story reads, James Comey, the former FBI director who was fired in May by President Trump, is writing a book about his experience. Now, of course, as you may or may not know, Comey is known for saying that he loved that job dearly. It was his dream job, basically. He was, of course, very shocked and devastated when Trump fired him with no warning. And then, if you'll recall, Trump later admitted on both an NBC interview and to the Russians that he brought into the Oval Office. Remember that? He admitted in both the NBC interview and to those Russians in the Oval Office that he had done so. He had fired Comey in order to stop the Russian investigation. You know, isn't that a crime? Question, can you do that and still be president? I don't think you get to. I do believe there's a law called obstructing justice when you fire the guy that's in charge of investigating you. And then you go and tell the Russians that he was investigating you about. Whew, I'm so glad I was able to take off the pressure of the Russian investigation when I fired Comey. So Comey, of course, was pretty devastated by this, and He's announced the working title of his book, Proof There Is No God, How I Became an Atheist Like Bill Maher. All right, take a look at this story here that caught my eye by Kaylin Kipling of our local Sacramento Bee. This is a story about Clint Eastwood's new movie coming out, and it's entitled Eastwood Casts Train Heroes as Themselves in Film on Terror Attack. It says, a Clint Eastwood directed film about the 3 Sacramento area men who thwarted a terror attack on a French train is getting a big dose of reality. Eastwood has typically turned to major Hollywood talent in his films to portray heroes, but he's going in another direction for 1517 to Paris. That's the name of the movie. The real-life heroes and friends. Do you remember these guys? They were awesome. How they jumped into action. Spencer Stone, Alex Skarlotos, and Anthony Sadler. They are going to play themselves in the movie. Isn't that cool? What a great idea Clint Eastwood had. They are the heroes who helped to subdue a terrorist who opened fire on a train in Amsterdam in August of 2015. And these guys jumped in and beat him down and caught the guy. Unfortunately, Eastwood is still having a little trouble trying to get the film completely cast. He's still having a little difficulty getting the terrorist to agree to play himself in the film. Recent interview with Clint Eastwood about the film, Eastwood said, yeah, I guess these guys really put an ass whooping on the terrorist. And with them being very amateur, untrained actors, I'm looking forward to doing a hell of a lot of retakes and reshoots on the fight scene. I don't do a very good Clint Eastwood, do I? So you can just imagine that terrorist at Guantanamo or wherever he said, no, you put me in the hole. I'd rather be in the hole. I'm Connie Bryan, and you're watching The Connie Bryan Show. My special guest on the program, I'm really excited tonight. We have Jason Casey with us from the Comedy Spot in Sacramento's Anti-Cooperation League, and you do improv comedy.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's what we're going to try to do tonight, and I'm a little nervous because I'm afraid I'm gonna mess him up. And we're going to try to do a little improv.
You won't mess me up.
Okay, tell us about improv. How? Because I'm used to stand-up comedy where it's more scripted. And,
right. So improv is, off the cuff, completely made up, on the spot at the time, usually with suggestions from the audience. So it's all made up. And the biggest difference, I think, because there's some similarities in that with stand-up still, the biggest difference is that you're always with a group of people.
Okay.
You're always playing on a team.
And you play off of each other. Let's talk about the name, because it's interesting. It's Anti-Cooperation League. Now, you're coming up on your 10-year anniversary, I think it is?
Yeah.
That's exciting. You started at the beginning. You're a founding member of it, right?
Yeah, I was a founding member.
And before we forget, in case we run out of time with our improv and stuff, tell everybody when they can come and see you.
So, it's performed every Saturday night at the Sacramento Comedy Spot here in Sacramento, and we're in the Mars building. But you can just look up sacramentocomedyspot.com or saccomedyspot.com, and our shows are every Saturday at 9 p.m. and you should come see it. ACL, we have great guests.
How much does it cost to get in?
I believe $12.
$12. That's a deal.
That's a deal. And there's no drink minimum, so you can come in there and they have beer and they have
awesome
and stuff. So
okay, so people come, they're in the audience, they give suggestions, and then you play off of that. Now, the name Anti-Cooperation League, it's kind of funny because, like you were kind of schooling me off the camera earlier, improv requires cooperation, and your name is Anti-Cooperation League, so...
Yeah, so that's what's funny about it. It's ironic.
Okay.
So the first thing about an improv team name is that it has to be... funny and ironic.
And ironic.
Yeah.
So I'd have to cooperate with you if we... So the one game is...
yes and?
Okay, let's try it.
You want to try yes and?
Yeah, tell them real fast.
Okay, so yes and is basically, I'm going to state a fact, or I'm going to make a statement, and then Connie needs to add to it by saying yes and.
Okay.
So I'm going to say, I don't need to say, I'm going to say, wow, this is a great cup of water.
Yes, and I have one too. And I have one too.
Yes, but yours is from Krispy Kreme, which is really cool.
Yes, and I can't eat Krispy Kreme because I gain too much weight.
Yes, and me too.
As I was noticing. No.
That's it.
Okay,
That's
so here we go.
That's that simple. That's it. Yes and.
Okay.
That's a yes and game.
It's a yes and game.
Mhm.
All right, we might do it again.
Yeah,
as
so
we go.
I mean, the whole idea of that game is to agreeing with each other. You know, by agreeing with each other, you can keep building off of it and keep continuing a dialogue, as opposed to if I were to say, that isn't a cup of water, that's a cup of alcohol.
You're not supposed to reveal that.
No.
No, I'm kidding. Yes.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's all about cooperating, working with each other.
Yeah.
What was one of your earliest memories of a real fun sketch that?
So there was a scene.
happened?
There's a scene that I was in, and this is a year, like at least 10, 11 years ago, at the old Sacramento comedy spot on Broadway here in Sacramento, and we were doing a show, and there was two people on stage, and they were talking about how they were underground, and as soon as they said they were underground, I made a noise from the back because I wasn't on stage. But one of the things that's great about improv is that there's no limits, so you can add any way you want to the scene. And the way that I wanted to add to that scene was by doing music. So as they said they were underground, I was like, without a beat of hesitation, I just started going dun 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 dun.
For Super Mario?
For Super Mario Brothers.
Very
exactly.
good. That's very good.
Yeah, so I started that. A few other people on the team joined in with me. So we had like a few people doing the theme now.
Okay.
And the people on stage, now we added something to the scene, and they were able to like right away be like, oh my gosh, we're in the Super Mario Brothers scene. Oh, we know what to do. And we added something to the scene, and it made it that much better and more fun. So
that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, that's improv. That's the great thing about improv.
All right. You ever do impersonations or characters? What are some of those kind of models that you bring? Like there's a short. There's a long form and a short form, I think, right?
Yeah. So there's short form improv, which is basically what most people are familiar with, though long form improv is growing in popularity.
Okay.
But short form is like, whose line is it anyway?
Oh, yes.
So everybody knows whose line is it anyway. Whether it's the Drew Carey version or the newer version, or the old British version. Like, it's been around for a long time, so people know that.
Very fun.
And that's, and it's a lot of fun. And it's short form, which means that it's games. If you notice, there's always games and premises, whether it's party quirks or, the game with the props, called props, or, making up the songs and a style or something. Those are all games. And those are all games that have kind of existed in that short form world for like the last 40 years.
So like party quirks, what are some of the ones you've done before?
One of my favorite party quirks was where I was an inanimate. My favorite thing is to be inanimate objects. I love being inanimate objects and giving and anthropomorphizing. But with inanimate, with whether it's being a fan or like I was just like I'd come on stage and I would just like look back.
And you're a fan?
Forth. Yeah.
Like a house fan?
An oscillating
fan?
Yeah, it was an oscillating fan. And that's what they had to guess, and I talked, but I was very much like...
Would you blow too?
I would be right on them. But I would never stay in one place because I was always oscillating. Another one was I was... one time I had to be... I was a bowling ball. I was an inanimate object as a bowling ball, so I came on stage, rolling on stage. I was much younger then, so I didn't have the bad knees and the bad back. So I was able to roll around the stage a lot easier. And that was fun because I got to bowl people down, kind of. But I think my absolute favorite was where I had to...
Can you do one and let me see if I can guess it?
Okay, yeah. So I'll... It's kind of physical.
It's kind of hard. You might go off the screen a little bit.
I would go off the screen. Okay. See if you can get it. I'll try to do it in a small form. This is... Okay, so here it goes.
baby being born? No? You seem to be coming out and then going back into something.
Mm-hmm. You want me to tell you what it is?
Yes, tell me what it is. It's kind of hard to do.
It's kind of hard to evolution.
Evolution.
It was evolution. Things start off with the Big Bang.
Evolution.
And then you have to go for the ground.
That's a tough one.
Oh, yeah. It was.
See, my God, that's a tough one. So you get that kind of stuff from the audience.
Oh, yeah.
They just toss this stuff out, and you're expected to...
You're expected to hit the ground and running.
The Big Bang.
Yeah, and you do the Big Bang.
And you got to do the Big Bang. It's
that's
a universe happening. Come on! That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
Some other games. So some of the other games, 5 things you told me about. Let's do 5 things.
Want to do 5 things?
Yeah.
All right.
Tell them what 5 things is.
So 5 things is it's a warm-up game, but it's also something you can do at home at any time. It's a lot of fun. Basically, you just look at somebody and you think of something and you say, "Hey, Connie, name 5 things that you wouldn't want in a beer."
That I wouldn't want in a beer. A thumbtack.
1.
I wouldn't want ground up fingernail.
Oh yeah, that'd be horrible.
I mean,
disgusting. Yeah, that's horrible.
I don't think that would taste very good. What else? I don't think I'd like sawdust in.
Oh yeah, no.
In my beer.
Yeah, because it'd be like counter-affecting, like you're solving your thirst, but then you're just adding to the thirst with the sauce.
Yeah, and the idea of a pickle in my beer, I don't. It sounds like it could go either way, but I think I wouldn't like pickles in my beer.
Yeah, no, a pickle in a beer just doesn't I mean, a pickle with a sandwich, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but a pickle with a beer. Yeah.
And what else would I not like in my beer? I think super glue.
Oh yeah.
Probably not gonna go down the palate real well.
Yeah, it might close your throat up.
Okay, then I gotta do you, right?
Yeah,
So
give me 5 things.
One thing you would not want in having, you would want to use in having sex.
Something I wouldn't want. 5 things.
5 things you would not want in having sex.
Thorns from a rose bush.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's prickly.
Yeah. What's that song though about love? Love is a rose.
Every rose has its thorn.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, no, but then not that love. What's that? Let's see. People watching. You know, like
I wouldn't want people watching you have sex.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to.
Not unless you're getting paid enough.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want them to be part of me having sex. You know, like people watching me. But I mean, if they didn't know, then you know.
If you knew they were there, it's kind of freaky. But what if you didn't know they were there?
Yeah, I'd probably be okay with it.
Okay, so that's 2.
It's, something else I want to have. I want my cat. A cat.
Cat.
Yeah, involved with the sex. You know. I mean, it's already bad enough. Like. You know, like if my wife and I try to have. If
the cat's in the room.
Yeah, right. We have a baby in the room too, so like it's hard. Like it's horrible. You know what I mean? Like,
it takes you out of the mood.
It takes you out of the mood.
With the baby in the room and then a cat too.
And a cat,
just goes over the top.
Yeah. So the cat's definitely not something I want to have sex.
That's 3. So far, I'm in full agreement.
Yeah. Sticky rice.
Sticky rice.
Yeah, right? I mean, because it's sticky, right? It's gonna get everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now that you've said that, it just really, that whole concept turns me off.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of those things. And then
there's a place for sticky rice.
There's a place, but it's not. It's not in that area. And then
that's turtle.
A turtle.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, a turtle is nice and slow and kind of comes out and comes back in and.
Yeah, I can see how it could have, but for me,
it's a turn off.
Yeah, it would be a turn off. It would be kind of like I kind of look at them as sacred animals. You know, so it's kind of like desecrating like a sacred animal.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, also like they bite unexpectedly.
That's true.
You know,
so that's 5 things.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
That's a game.
I feel like I haven't messed that one up completely, but
it's a lot of fun.
Great. What's that? We only have about another 3 minutes. So you want to give us an example of the long form that you say you do a lot of?
Yeah. So long form is basically just anything where we just make something up. All right. We get a premise and then we make something up.
Okay.
Let's say our suggestion is flower. All right. And let's just do a scene about a flower.
A scene about the flower.
Yeah. And I'll start off.
Okay. You can certainly use it as a prop too if you need to.
Your flowers are so beautiful.
Are we talking about flowers or are we talking about flower? My flower. Are you talking about that?
What?
I mean, are you using it as a metaphor?
Well, I mean,
are you flirting with me?
Do you? Well, Connie, I wanted. I kind of was flirting with you.
I don't like to beat around the bush.
Sometimes I like to beat around the bush.
Yeah, we're hitting it off really good here.
Yeah.
But I thought you were committed. Are you thinking about leaving? Are you thinking about leaving?
Well, I am in a polyamorous, so I mean, like
polyamorous.
Yeah. So like, my wife and I would do whatever we kind of want outside the marriage.
I thought you meant. I thought that meant maybe all of us could.
Well, I mean, I could
compare flowers.
I can't speak for her.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe you just compare flowers. I mean,
poly, I thought meant many.
Many. Well, I mean, outside of. Okay. Outside, but I mean, it could be inside of.
So that's good. Okay, that's the long form way of improvising.
It's a little bit of it. I mean, generally it goes on for between 20 minutes or like 20 to 30 minutes at least.
Okay, and as we're wrapping up, just real quickly, tell me your early influences, like a couple of your big influences.
So somebody that was a big influence for me was Chris Farley.
Chris Farley.
Yeah, and I mean, he's just so amazing, and he was so part of it. I heard a story about him doing improv, and one of the things, and this kind of inspired me later.
Yeah.
And I demonstrated it with the sound effect, but he always was willing to add to a scene without being the main person in the scene.
Okay.
And one of his biggest things were somebody would get killed on stage or somebody would get cut on stage, and he would come out and he would just literally bleed the blood spurting out of them with his hand.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, they're bleeding, it's blood,
Yeah.
And that's amazing, and that helped me, like, just knowing that, hearing that story about him one time when I was reading something, like, made me like, it made me a better improviser. And that was after he already passed. I mean, he was still teaching me, so.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, it's been fantastic having you on the show. Jason Casey, everybody. Catch him at the Sacramento Comedy Spot. Saturday nights?
At 9 p.m.
9 p.m. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time, everybody.